Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with the daily technical updates. US was closed yesterday, so no action really took place. So just we can just recap very quickly. S&P 500 close to 4,600, strong resistance level there. That should be observed. We can see here that the US 500 CFD slash future is ticking higher in pre-market. So it seems to be, it's going to be a half day in the US stock market, so it will probably just be, and it's usually fairly positive. So let's see. Nasdaq also, it has formed a higher close and is on its way to all-time highs, just below 17,000. Let's see if we can get there. It's not unlikely before year end. We have the pre-market, we are ticking a little bit higher there. On the European markets, we are nearing some interesting resistance levels. We have the EUROSTOXX 50 close to the 4,400. There's some resistance around here, and this was a very steep, very fast upwards move. It really feels like investors were afraid of being left out. We have the DAX, German DAX, testing the 16,000 at the moment, around that level. It's more like a psychological level than a real level, but you can see it is around that level where it just spikes above and then can close below. RSI sideways, which is interesting, so I think we will get a little bit of a correction here fairly shortly, most likely into next week. The AEX Amsterdam testing once again the 763 resistance. What is interesting is that there's now building divergence on the RSI. You can see this peak here is lower than this one, so let's see where we are at the end tonight, where the market close. Will it actually perform a divergence? So we should also be ripe for a correction there. The Belgium markets very slow trading today, but it's testing the resistance and 35.75. So expect a little bit of a setback there too, possibly. But if it does close above, then there is further upside potential. CAC 40, CAC 7,330 resistance, still ticking a little bit higher. Bullish RSI, but it seems to be flattening a little bit, so it's not that convincing here. It seems to be exhausting at the least. We have the Swiss market also taking a little bit higher in the 100 moving average, positive sentiment. But we could get a correction also there, of course, on the going into next week. Euro dollar trading a little bit sideways is still the 109.60-65 resistance that should be observed. We could get a little bit sliding lower here towards 108, but I think that will be it before we see the next push towards this resistance. If it takes it out, well, then we are looking at 110, 111 around that level there. 111 is the would be the target and resistance. Cable. Sterling dollar is once again testing 125.46. We have a little bit of resistance there. What is interesting is that the RSI is stalling a little bit. If it does break above and closes above this falling trend line here, well, then there is room up to 127, 127.5, where we also have the 61.8 retracement of this entire downtrend there, 127.20, and I think we will get up there before we see a larger correction. Then on dollar yen, after breaking back above 149.05, then it's trading a little bit sideways, dancing around here, but I think we will see it slowly moving higher, almost similar to euro yen that is taking higher towards the previous peak here at 146.30. The RSI is back in back above 60. It is showing positive sentiment. There is no divergence. We see this peak is also corresponding nicely with this one. So we could see a move higher towards towards. Yeah, let's actually see what we could move towards. If we say, well, that was the correction there, well, then we are looking at 160.20, 167, around that level there we could see on Euro Yen. Aussie Yen, I think we will see a test of a 98.55 resistance here in a couple of days. Probably not today, but going into next week. It is still in an uptrend and confirmed by the RSI. Let's have a look at sterling yen, also taking higher. 188.80 is the key resistance it should test there. It didn't get up all the way up there, but we are still in a bullish trend, and the RSI is supporting the bullish view. Aussie dollar, just trading sideways between here, the 65.20 and 66. If it does break above 66, well, then we are looking at 67.68 easily. And finally, the dollar index, also of course trading sideways a little bit, 103, 104.40. That's the levels to break out of. Gold is still struggling to get above the previous peak here at 2009, 2010. That is what needed, but it could slide back slowly towards the 1975. But I do expect we will break higher. But let's see. But at least that's the levels to look out for. Silver still really fighting to close above. It actually did close above yesterday, 23.79 almost, but it's not very convincing really. It really needs to break this range trading area here. So let's see if it can. I mean, we have the RSI above 60, so it's actually still in a bullish trend or bullish sentiment, but it needs to confirm that with a powerful thrust higher. What is interesting on the platinum, we haven't talked about that much, but I did send out an analysis about a week ago on platinum. So 943 resistance around that level. It did touch it, almost touched it here the other day, spiking at 943. It needs to break above that for to build a bullish trend. Otherwise, it's merely just a correction. And after we can see, well, it's been really lacking or been quite weak the past year or so. Copper. Oops, sorry, wrong button. Apologize. It's still 382 that it needs to close above. You had this top and reversal pattern here, but I don't think we will see a sell-off. Probably not much lower than to around 370. So before the next push towards the 382. In the oil market, a lot of volatility intraday, but we don't really get anywhere. So it's still 79.77 and 72.65 on the WTI. Brent just below 84 and 77 to the downside, and we need a breakout of these levels. Something interesting developing in the interest market or in the bond market. Here we have the US 10-year yields actually moving higher today, and I think we will see a push above 450. And I've been talking about it for quite some time now. So what is interesting is, of course, also that the Treasury future RSI never did close above 60, so it's starting to sell off here. It couldn't break into a positive sentiment, so I believe we'll see higher yields here in coming times. And what we can do very quickly, we can do a little bit of a Fibonacci dance here, adding that, and then we are looking at 461. This is the 38.2. If it does break above 470, well, then we are moving towards 5%. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice weekend and happy trading.